All right, so what kicks this whole thing off? What starts this internal conflict? Well, MS is a real puzzle with pieces that are both genetic and environmental. It's not just one single thing, but a whole combination of factors that kind of sets the stage. Okay, so at its most basic level, MS is an attack on your nervous system's insulation. Think of your nerves like electrical wires. They have this protective coating called myelin that helps signals travel super fast and efficiently. When that insulation gets damaged, communication between your brain and the rest of your body just gets totally disrupted. Now, this isn't like an immediate allergic reaction, like if you got a bee sting. No. MS is what's called a delayed cell-mediated response. And what that means is that it's all orchestrated by the body's own specialized soldiers, the T cells, which are, normally supposed to be the good guys fighting off invaders. So who's most at risk here? Well, it's a mix of things. On the environmental side, having had certain viral infections in the past, like Epstein-Barr, can be a trigger. Then there's the genetic side. A specific gene, HLA-DR2, seems to create a susceptibility. And demographically, we see it way more often in biological females, usually showing up for the first time between the ages of 20 and 40. Okay, so how do all these risk factors suddenly escalate into an all-out war? This is where a defensive mission goes horribly, horribly wrong, and the body's own immune system turns against its central nervous system. This whole process is just fascinatingly destructive. It all starts with a case of mistaken identity. A T cell, which was trained to spot a specific virus, makes a critical error. Through something called molecular mimicry, it mistakes a protein in your own myelin for the enemy. This confused T cell then does the impossible. It crosses the ultra-secure blood-brain barrier. Once it's inside, it starts attacking the very cells that produce your myelin. But it doesn't stop there. It sends out chemical signals calling for backup. This brings in even more immune cells that just wreck the myelin and lead to scar tissue or plaques. And that's actually where the disease gets its name, multiple sclerosis, which literally means multiple scars. Now, here's a really important thing to understand. This internal battle doesn't look the same for everybody. The disease actually follows several different patterns or courses, and that really determines how it progresses over time. By far, and I mean by a long shot, the most common form when people are first diagnosed is relapsing-remitting MS. Get this, it accounts for a staggering 90% of cases. This is that classic pattern of flare-ups or relapses followed by periods of recovery. So let's break down these four main types. With RRMS, you get these attacks, then a remission period, but disability can slowly build up with each relapse. A lot of people with RMS eventually move into what's called secondary progressive, where the disease just starts to get steadily worse. Then you have primary progressive, which is different from the get-go. It just steadily worsens from the very beginning, with no clear relapses. And finally, progressive relapsing is kind of the toughest one, with a steady decline that also gets punctuated by those acute flare-ups. So we've gone through the mechanism and the patterns, but what does all of this actually mean for a person living with the condition? Let's talk about the real-world impact, the symptoms, how doctors figure it out, and how it's managed today. I mean, all this damage is happening at a microscopic level, right on the nerves themselves. So how does this invisible war actually show up as physical symptoms you can feel? Well, one of the earliest and most common signs is something called optic neuritis. The optic nerve gets inflamed, and that can cause blurred vision, pain, and a really specific telltale sign where the pupil actually gets wider in response to a bright light instead of smaller. It's pretty wild. Historically, doctors would look for this classic trio of symptoms known as Charcot's triad. This includes nystagmus, which is just involuntary eye movements, an intention tremor, where you shake more and more the closer you get to an object you're trying to grab, and this slow, kind of disjointed way of talking called scanning speech. And then there are two other really specific signs that are classic MS. With Uhthoff's phenomenon, a person's symptoms can temporarily get way worse just because their body temperature goes up, like from taking a hot shower. And with Lhermitte's sign, if they bend their neck forward, they feel this brief electric shock-like jolt that shoots right down their spine. So how do you confirm it's MS? The absolute gold standard is an MRI. This kind of imaging lets doctors literally see the areas of damage, those plaques or lesions, in the brain and spinal cord. It's direct visual evidence of the demyelination. In some cases, doctors might also do a lumbar puncture or spinal tap. Analyzing that fluid can reveal some major clues. They often find specific antibodies that show up in a pattern called oligoclonal banding, and just a higher number of immune cells in general. Both are dead giveaways that there's inflammation happening inside the central nervous system.
When it comes to managing MS, it's really a two-pronged attack. For an acute flare-up, the goal is to knock down the inflammation fast, usually with high-dose steroids. But for long-term prevention, the whole strategy is to suppress or tweak the immune system with drugs like interferon beta or the super-targeted monoclonal antibodies to stop future attacks before they even start.
You know, we've come so far. We've gone from just trying to manage symptoms to developing these incredibly sophisticated therapies that can act as decoys for those rogue T cells or even physically block them from getting into the brain. It really makes you wonder, as we get better and better at outsmarting our own immune system, are we on the verge of not just managing, but maybe actually winning this internal civil war?